I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network, and this is a breaking news alert. Kari Lake, the MAGA Republican fascist candidate for governor in the state of Arizona, who lost by more than 17,000 votes to Katie Hobbs, the current governor of Arizona, has lost yet again in the courts. This time, the Arizona Court of Appeals, Division 1, has affirmed the trial court's ruling where Kari Lake lost her challenge to try to overturn the results of the 2022 Arizona gubernatorial election. You know that song, "All I Do Is Win, 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 No Matter What"? Well, when it comes to Kari Lake, all she does is lose, lose, lose all the time, like these MAGA Republican election denying conspiracy theorists, Trump cultist lunatics. And here yet again, Kari Lake loses. So all of that wasn't in the opinion by the Court of Appeals, but shall we look at the Court of Appeals decision where Kari Lake lost? Here it goes from the Arizona Court of Appeals, Division 1. The Chief Judge writes, Kari Lake appeals the Maricopa County Superior Court's ruling rejecting her request to set aside Governor Katie Hobbs' 17,117 vote win in Arizona's 2022 gubernatorial election. Lake's arguments highlight election day difficulties, but her request for relief fails because the evidence presented to the Superior Court ultimately supports the court's conclusion that voters were able to cast their ballots, that votes were counted correctly, and that no other basis justifies setting aside the election results. Accordingly, we affirm. Come on, Kari Lake, I thought this was the Kraken. I thought you were going to release the Kraken. Where's the Kraken? I don't see it. All I see is you MAGA losers continuing to lose over and over again. Let's get right into other portions of the opinion. You know, one of the things that Kari Lake argues is that the legal standard for election challenges should be done by the preponderance of evidence, and the Court of Appeals rejects that. It's always been a clear and convincing standard. So the court rejects this whole notion by Kari Lake regarding the burden of proof. The court says a higher burden of proof is consistent with the holdings in all of these cases, and it's further supported by Arizona's strong public policy favoring stability and finality of election results, and by the presumption of good faith and honesty of election officials. We thus agree with the Superior Court that Lake was required to prove her case by a clear and convincing. So then when the court talks about the printer tabulator claims, the Court of Appeals agrees with the lower court that Kari Lake presented absolutely no evidence that there was a claim there. This is what the court says. Lake alleges that Maricopa County election officials either negligently or intentionally failed to adequately test ballot-on-demand printers, or in some other manner injected misconfigured ballots that cannot be read by on-site tabulators at vote centers. This claim fails because at most, the evidence regarding misconduct was disputed, and ample evidence supported the Superior Court's conclusion that the printer tabulator issues resulted from mechanical malfunctions that were ultimately remedied. That claim is rejected. One of Kari Lake's other claims is the chain of custody, and here the court says there's ample basis to conclude that Lake failed to prove an improper chain of custody of documentation. The court goes on to say the Superior Court did not err at all by denying Lake's chain of custody, and was very critical of these so-called experts that Kari Lake wanted to put on. The court then addressed Kari Lake's signature verification claim, and the court basically said this is completely without merit. The court goes on to say, although she now argues otherwise, Lake's signature verification claim alleged a procedural violation of the election process. Lake's complaint alleged that the Maricopa County recorder accepted a material number of early ballot packets with an affidavit signature that the Maricopa County recorder or his designee determined did not match the signature in the putative voter's registration record. But this assertion was premised on first-level reviewers' rejection rates, not on the ultimate determination after Maricopa County's multi-level signature verification process. Thus, at best, Lake's signature verification claim attacked Maricopa County's process for verifying signatures that first-level reviewers questioned, a challenge to the county's election procedures, not a claim that the overall procedures were violated. Accordingly, the Superior Court was correct in rejecting Kari Lake's claims. You go down to the conclusion here, and this page was a 12-page order. This equal protection due process claim by Kari Lake, the court goes. Lake argues that the Superior Court erred by dismissing her claims asserting equal protection and due process violations. Her arguments fail, however, because these claims were expressly premised on an allegation of official misconduct in the form of interference with on-site tabulators, the same alleged misconduct as in Lake's printer tabulator claim. Because these claims were duplicative of a claim that Lake unsuccessfully pursued at trial, the Superior Court did not err in dismissing them. Conclusion. For the foregoing reasons, we affirm the Superior Court's ruling confirming Hobbs' election as governor. We deny Hobbs' request, though, for an award of attorney's fees on appeal because she offered no substantive basis for the award. My own view, Hobbs should absolutely have gotten attorney's fees. This entire complaint by Kari Lake was utterly frivolous to begin with. But, the Superior Court judge did say, look, we're not going to give sanctions. The Court of Appeals says we're not going to give sanctions. Personally, I think people like Kari Lake absolutely deserve sanctions. And by the way, remember Kari Lake went on and basically accused the judge of being a DNC operative? That's what she said when she lost. Kari Lake said, the judge may have been secretly conspiring with DNC and Democratic lawyers to manipulate the ruling. Really? So did the Court of Appeals do that also? And frankly, when you don't sanction people like that, the outcome is vexatious litigants like Donald Trump. You need to be forceful with these fascist traitors, these frivolous, vexatious litigants. It's disappointing that no sanctions were given here because I think you need the type of sanctions that took place in Judge Middlebrook's court in the Southern District of Florida and Justice Arthur Engoron's court, who held Trump in contempt. Honestly, I think that Kari Lake should be held in contempt. I think these claims were utterly frivolous, and I think not sanctioning her, even though I enjoy seeing her lose, not sanctioning her substantial money does a disservice to justice. But I'll take the fact that she lost again. I'll take the fact that she lost as another small victory. But I'm sure she will go and grift off her cult base and the MAGA Republicans and play the victim card like all these MAGA Republican fascist traitors do. These despicable MAGA fascist traitors who want to overturn our democracy, who want to completely destroy free and fair elections. Truly despicable. Truly despicable. But that's what the ruling said. She loses. All she does is lose, lose, and lose. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit the subscribe button. We are on our way to 1 million subscribers thanks to your incredible support. So please hit subscribe right now. Also, check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch, patreon.com/MEIDASTOUCH. Lots of exclusive content there, but most importantly, it supports our independent media network since we have no outside investors at all. So please, if you can, become a member of our Patreon. It helps a lot. It also helps a lot when you subscribe here. Right now, it's free to subscribe to this YouTube channel. We're marching to 1 million subscribers in March. So please hit subscribe right now and enjoy this new way of looking at the media, this new independent media network, the MeidasTouch Network. I'm Ben Meiselas. Until next time.
MeidasTouch is unapologetically pro-democracy. And look, we know you are too. So please make sure you check out our best-selling shirt and our best-selling gear, the unapologetically pro-democracy gear. And hey, while you're at it, make sure you check out my favorite shirt and one of our most famous designs. It wasn't rigged, you're just a loser. At store.meidastouch.com. That's store.meidastouch.com.